Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Illinois Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. First, just want to let you know that we are going to have a series of 6 presentations from 6 colleges, and they will each be 6 minutes. Thank you again for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen at any time to type questions to our presenters. Your camera and microphone are off, so our panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so please be sure to sign up for more. And this session will be available, as well as many others, within about a week at strivescan.com/Illinois. And with that, I'll turn it over to our first presenter, Binghamton University SUNY.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that introduction. So hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're tuning in from, hopefully from Illinois. My name is Douglas Harrington. I am an admissions counselor from Binghamton University, State University of New York. I'm going to go ahead and pull my screen up here. So we are part of the State University of New York system, or the SUNY system, if you've heard of it. We are one of 64 different schools a part of the SUNY system. And out of all 64, we are ranked #1. We are the #1 public institution in all of New York. Certainly have to start off with this first slide here because it does show off our beautiful campus. We do have a true campus atmosphere here at Binghamton. It is about 100 acres. That does sit here in upstate New York. It's not like you're walking around a city or anything like that, and all of a sudden you're on a college campus. This is a true campus atmosphere. You go through a big main entrance, all that jazz. So it is a beautiful campus. We are located, like I said, in beautiful upstate New York in the southern tier. We're only located about 20 minutes over the border of Pennsylvania there, as you can see. We're super centralized to a lot of metro areas in the Northeast. We have New York, that's 3 hours, Philly, that's 3 hours, Boston, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, they're about 5. And we have smaller cities like Syracuse, Scranton, Ithaca, they're only about an hour away. So it really helps with not only things to do on the weekends and such, but also, of course, when it comes time to full-time recruitment. We have over 1,800 companies that do come and recruit to Binghamton on an annual basis. Since we're so centralized, they are not that far away. And they certainly love to come and recruit our students, especially our 145,000 active living alum, 2/3 of which live and work in the New York City and Philadelphia metro areas. So since we're so close, they certainly love to come up and help out as much as they possibly can, giving advice, doing events, and certainly recruiting for their companies. So such a prime location that I like to say that Binghamton is. So here at Binghamton, we do have over 130 different majors and programs broken up into 6 different schools of study. We have our Harper College of Arts and Sciences. It's our largest school here. It has about 120 of our 130 different majors and programs, and about 80% of our student body. All of your physical sciences, social sciences, maths, languages, fine arts, everything like that is going to be housed within the Harper College of Arts and Sciences. Next, we have our College Community and Public Affairs, which houses our human development and our brand new Bachelor of Social Work program. We like to call it CCPA because that's way too many words for us. We have our Decker College of Nursing, which is a fantastic direct entry nursing program here. It's one of the top nursing programs in the Northeast, and you are immediately considered a nurse as soon as you step foot on campus. We have our School of Management, one of the top 10 public business schools in the entire country. And in terms of accounting, we are one of the top feeders into the Big Four accounting firms in New York. We have our Thomas J. Watson College of Engineering, where we have 5 different engineering majors and computer science. If you didn't know, IBM was actually founded in the Binghamton area. So that is who the school is named after. And lastly, we do have the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. This is a newer school. It just opened in 2017, but you can come and get your PharmD right here on our campus. If you do apply pre-pharmacy here at Binghamton, you have a chance to guarantee your acceptance into our PharmD program. And of course, we do have over 50 different accelerated fast track programs, as well as our pre-professional programs. Before moving on, I certainly always love to talk about how Binghamton does have its first Nobel Prize winning professor on our campus. You can see in 2019, our professor Stanley Whittingham did win the Nobel Prize in chemistry because he is credited with inventing the lithium-ion battery. So without him, all of this stuff that we're able to do virtually nowadays on your phones, your computers, wouldn't be able to happen. And he does work with our first-year students, and he certainly works with them through our first-year research immersion program. It's one of 4 programs in the entire country that does allow students to start doing research right from your first semester on campus. There are about a dozen different streams, and how it works is 3 semesters. First semester, you're more focused on research methods and how to conduct research at a college level. And then second 2 semesters, you're more focused in the stream, working in the labs, and you go and you graduate and you're free to conduct your own research or latch on to a professor. That is geared more towards the physical sciences and the engineering fields. So recently we created what we call the SOURCE project. Very similar. While it's 2 semesters and 6 streams, it's geared more towards the humanities and the social sciences. So since we're a research institution, we're an R1 research institution, we want to provide as much research opportunities as we can to our students. We also, as I mentioned, have amazing internship and full-time job opportunities. You do have access to our Fleischman Center for Career Professional Development. They are there for all of your internship and post-graduation needs. We have amazing service learning opportunities for our students, whether it be inside or outside of the classroom. You do have that here at Binghamton. And of course, our studying abroad. Since we're part of the SUNY system, you're not only getting access to our study abroad programs, you're getting access to every single one in the SUNY system. So that is over 1,000 different programs available to you. But of course, you're not just going to be stuck in the classroom. You don't want to be that person who spends 24/7 in the library. I know them, they're no fun. You can go out and explore. We do have over 450 student-run groups and organizations ranging from performance to professional to volunteer. And of course, if we don't have something that you love, it's certainly easy to start your own. You just get a few signatures and go to our student association, who they themselves are student run. We are Division I here at Binghamton. We have 21 Division I sports ranging from baseball, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse. It's free for students to attend any one of our games. So certainly recommend checking it out and being part of our student cheering section called the BU Zoo. It's certainly a lot of fun. If you want to participate in sports, but maybe not at the Division I level, we of course have our club and intramural sports on campus as well. And we of course have over 100 different music and theater performances, as well as 2 museums with over 4,000 works of art, both professional and student. And of course, we do have our campus rec facilities as well. But of course, we certainly love to talk about our value here at Binghamton. We are consistently ranked as a top value school, as high as number 15 best value in the entire country, one behind Princeton University in that ranking. So you can see here, for an out-of-state student, your total cost of attendance is around $44,000. But what's really nice about Binghamton is that we do reserve all of our merit scholarships for out-of-state students. Automatic consideration, no extra applications or deadlines that you need to meet. It's automatic consideration. So that kind of wraps everything up. Certainly love to get in contact with you. We have lots of different opportunities for you with live chats, one-on-one appointments, information sessions, virtual tours, and other recordings. My timer is just about up. So there it goes. So I'm just about to wrap up here, but first, love to point out our 190-acre nature reserve that sits right on our campus as well. So if you do have any questions, here's my info. I'll certainly put it in the chat as well. But please feel free to reach out to me. I am the Illinois representative for Binghamton, so I'd love to hear from you. And with that, I will be turning over to one of my next colleagues.
Thank you so much. Our next presenter is Providence College.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our presentations this evening. My name is Megan O'Rourke, and I'm the Associate Dean and Coordinator for Midwest Recruitment at Providence College. So that's a very fancy way of saying I'm based here in Illinois. I work with students throughout the Midwest, but based actually in Oak Park, Illinois. So if I have any Illinois residents joining me, hello. I'm in the Central Time Zone with you. So what I'm going to do tonight is just walk you through some general info about PC so that you have some info as we get started to kind of give you a sense of what we are all about. So Providence College is located in Providence, Rhode Island. I think for a lot of students coming from this area, Providence as a city is appealing. It's about an hour away from Boston, about 3 hours away from New York City. So a lot of students that are looking East Coast, this is like a great place to land. We are, though, a school that has a smaller population. So we're actually considered medium-sized, but kind of on the small end of medium-sized. And we have just about 4,200 undergraduate students. With graduate students included, our enrollment is at just under 5,000. And for students that are looking for, to go farther away, but still looking for that tight-knit community, this is a really great fit. I think your average class size ends up being about 20 to 22 students in a given year. So you're going to have great access to your faculty members while they're teaching your classes, great access and dialogue, and just an overall solid classroom experience with your classmates because you're going to be able to engage with one another. One thing that we're really proud of is the fact that 91% of our freshmen come back sophomore year. It's a really strong retention rate, and I think that's due to the fact that we have so many wonderful offerings when it comes to both academic and co-curricular. Your fun fact for tonight, because I know you're all dying for a fun fact, is that we are the only school in the country that was founded by and currently still run by Dominican friars. So friars are an order of Catholic priests. So we are a Catholic private Dominican institution. That's why you'll see the black and white on all of the things. Those are our colors. That's what the colors that the Dominicans wear. So there you go, fun fact for this evening. Now, let me walk you through kind of the academic background and more about PC. So When we talk about your academic experience, I think the biggest thing to point out is that we are considered a liberal arts school. So majors and minors, you can see them on the screen. We've got plenty to choose from. And I don't think you're going to go wrong. If you're undecided, we've got great advising for you to be able to take advantage of. And you can kind of pick and choose. So major and a minor, double major and a minor, major and two minors, if we're getting wild. We want you to kind of build an academic experience that makes sense for you. And we want you to be able to kind of explore and be excited about the passions that you're kind of taking on in your majors, and then hopefully in that career path after life at PC. Now, every student at PC completes a core set of classes, a core curriculum. We know that those are the skills that employers are really looking for. They come to campus and talk about problem solving and critical thinking, working in a team, being able to communicate, whether it's in writing or getting up and giving a speech. So we want to continue to hone those skills and abilities in your major, but too in these core classes. So that's just as important a part or piece to your academic life on campus. I think it's important to note, though, that learning doesn't just take place in the classroom. There are plenty of other ways that you're going to learn and grow and become the person you're supposed to become while you're a student on campus. Couple of quick stats for you, I think, that are important in noting kind of what happens in an academic setting, but maybe not in a classroom. 37% of our recent grads did some sort of research project with a faculty member. We have great options during the school year and during the summer for you to take advantage of. And lots of our students, most of our students, are doing some sort of career relevant experience. That could be student teaching, it could be an internship of some kind. We want you to have those opportunities and to take advantage of those things, because we know, one, it makes you more competitive as an applicant to grad school, to a job, whatever, but it also ensures that you're learning kind of how things go in real life. And that's going to be really important when you start looking for a job. Another kind of cool thing about PC, your study abroad opportunities are going to be pretty plentiful. There's over 300 programs in 40 countries. Your financial aid travels with you. So it makes it really easy for students where financial aid is a concern, that's going to go with you no matter where you go in any of those programs. And more than half of our students end up studying abroad. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about PC as a city. It's an awesome place, super historic. The city is one of the oldest cities in the country. You can see the Providence River in this picture. The campus itself, I think students appreciate this balance of like, okay, there's over 120 student organizations on campus, but then I also have the city of Providence at my disposal. The campus is located kind of 5 to 10 minutes away from downtown, so in one of the many neighborhoods that make up the city. We would love to get you on campus, and hopefully this summer we will be able to do so. Let's talk quickly about applying. We're test optional. We've been test optional for a long time. So we really do utilize a holistic review when it comes to kind of your overall academic picture. We look at the classes you're taking, your essay, your activities, your letters of rec, all of those things play a part in our decision. And it's important to us that we do utilize all of those pieces to make a decision. I think the last thing that I would want you to know before we wrap up this evening, there's a lot of stuff happening on campus, and we definitely want to get you to campus to kind of experience what Providence College has to offer. But one of the coolest things about, class of 2019 and 2020, 96% of our students were employed or attending grad school, but more importantly, 93% of those students were in a field or in a position or in a role that they wanted to be in. And I think that speaks to the kinds of things that you'll experience while you're on campus with us. Let me just very quickly put my contact information on the screen. So take a snapshot and I will pop that into the chat. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Our next presenter is Franklin and Marshall College.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shelby Jones, and I am one of the assistant directors of admission at F&M. Okay, let me just pull up my presentation. Here we go. So Franklin and Marshall College, we are a small liberal arts college located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. For those of you who don't know where that is, we are about an hour and 15 minutes from Philadelphia, about 40 minutes from our state capital of Harrisburg, about 2 hours from Washington, D.C., and 3 hours from New York. So we are really a great location and central to a lot of the large East Coastern cities. As for on campus, we have about 2,400 students currently representing 45 states and 47 countries. We really do value having a global population. About 20% of our students are international, and about 25% of our students are domestic students of color. So we really value diversity in every sense of the word. We have 5 college houses on campus instead of dormitories. So once you step foot on campus, you are a part of a college house, and you will be a member of that college house for all 4 years that you're on campus. And it's your instant community once you join us. Academically, we have over 60 areas of study for you to choose from, and we really do empower our students to take ownership of their education and structure their education in ways that makes the most sense for them. For as small a campus we do have a lot of clubs and organizations that you can join once you join us on campus. Some of our most popular ones being social and political activism groups, Greek life, intramural sports, and little quirky ones that you'll find on different campuses. We have 27 athletic programs, but with all of those numbers, we are one FNMLE, and I know it's a little bit cheesy, but we really do value community on FNM's campus. Moving on to academics, because I think this is really what we do best. We really want our students to leave FNM feeling completely empowered by their education. We have a small classroom environment with our average class being 17 students, but all classes are capped at 25. So we'll never have a large class where there's a lot of students staring at you and you have to participate in the discussion-based curriculum. So you can see 80% of our classes are discussion-based. You will have to take an active role in the learning process in the classroom, but we have small classes to make sure that you feel comfortable doing so. We have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So outside of the classroom, you're going to have short lines for office hours and a lot of opportunities to work closely with professors and faculty. Research is really big on our campus, which I think sometimes can be surprising in regards to liberal arts colleges, but we do have a lot of research opportunities. And that's not just limited to the sciences. You could do research in plastics, government, whatever your major is. Interdisciplinary curriculum is really big on campus. Our connections courses, which are our first year writing seminars, kind of rope in this interdisciplinary mindset where you're taking courses that kind of bounce around different areas of study on campus. And we do have a core curriculum in place, so we make sure that you are well-rounded by the time you graduate, but we don't require our students to declare their major until the end of their sophomore year. So you have lots of time to figure out what you want to do if you're coming in undecided. Outside of the classroom, let's start with study abroad. We have partnerships with over 220 programs all across the world. As of fall 2019, I can officially say we've had students on all 7 continents, which is really exciting. So you can take your learning outside of the classroom and go to a completely different setting with different opportunities. Abroad can be strictly academic, or you can incorporate an internship or research into that. It's really up to you, but we have a staff on campus who will help you with every step of the way if you want to get off campus for a semester or a year. Our location in Lancaster, we're very fortunate to be located in Lancaster City. And for some of you, it might be a large town or a small city, just depending on where you're coming from. We have about 65,000 people who live in Lancaster, and we have a very global community within our Lancaster city limits, which I think is really awesome because it does mirror campus. Lancaster itself is a refugee city, so we have people coming from all over the world sharing their cultures and experiences with us and engaging with the FNM's campus. We have partnerships with over 80 organizations locally, so that means a lot of opportunities for you to work closely with the community, whether that be volunteer opportunities or an internship. Speaking of internships, our Office of Student and Postgraduate Development is going to be your place for everything post-FNM. Their little tagline is preparing students for a successful life. So you're not just going to be prepared for a career or a graduate program. They're going to give you the skills that you need to be successful no matter what stage of your life you're going through. And then finally, our admission process. So we do offer a holistic approach to our application review. We are on the Common and Coalition app. We are test optional and have been test optional for the past decade or so. I actually graduated from FNM and I applied test optional, so I can speak that we really look at the whole application. We're not focused on test scores. We are interview optional and we are truly optional in the true sense of that term. So that's up to you ultimately if you want to do an interview. If you are looking at other colleges, I would recommend looking into interview options because they really do help students. We have early decision as well as regular decision. And my one little piece of admission advice is when you're filling out the application, make sure to put more in your application than less. This is not a situation where less is more. Definitely pour yourself into the application because when I read an application, I'm not only just looking at whether a student is an academic fit, but a personal fit because we really do value having a robust campus community. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is at the bottom of your screen, as well as other virtual opportunities on our fnm.edu website. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much. Our next presenter is University of Pittsburgh.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. My name is Betsy Stevens, and I'm an admission counselor at the University of Pittsburgh. I'm based in the Chicagoland area, so if you're tuning in from Illinois, I would be your go-to person in the future. Tonight, I'll give you a little overview about campus, the city, academics, student life, and what the next steps look like. But on the screen right now, you'll see a little snapshot of our campus. We're a mid to large size school with about 19,000 students, and as you can see, we're located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So we're about an 8 to 9 hour drive from most of the Chicagoland area, or a quick 1 hour flight out of either Midway or O'Hare. We're located within city limits, so we're technically in the city of Pittsburgh, but we're about 3 miles outside of the downtown area in a neighborhood called Oakland. So I always say our campus is urban-ish. It definitely has that urban feel to it. It's just not right in the heart of the city. We're in a neighborhood called Oakland, which is home to 2 other universities. We have a huge medical center focus, and then we're also a very culturally diverse neighborhood. When you step foot on our campus, you definitely do get that big school spirit vibe. So academics are really important and strong at the university, but our students are definitely interested in giving back to the community. Our campus is 100% walkable. There are 2 main streets that'll go down through our campus, but students can definitely walk from class to the residence halls, into the libraries as well. So now, one of the big draw for a lot of students when they're looking at Pitt is the proximity to the city. So it's a huge highlight and lots of opportunities for you. So while we definitely want our students to be engaged on campus, we see the downtown area as a great resource academically and for entertainment. In the downtown area, a lot of our business students will find internships. We're home to many Fortune 500 companies and several startups as well. Pittsburghers do love their professional sports teams, and we do have 4 professional teams in the downtown area. All those teams do have reduced ticket prices for our students, except for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So a great opportunity for you to cheer on some of our local teams. If you're interested in the fine arts or cultural opportunities, we do have a cultural district. So oftentimes our students do attend plays, musicals, those sorts of things at a reduced rate or for free. Lastly, my favorite part about the downtown area is that we are a huge foodie city and been ranked one of the best places to eat in America. And that's simply just because of the diversity of the downtown area. Best of all, with all these things I just talked about, our students can access them for free using our city bus system. So this city bus will take you all over the city of Pittsburgh, to the airport as well, and is a great resource for our students. Moving on to academics, all of our freshmen do apply to one of these 5 entry-level programs. So our largest program is our Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, which houses our liberal arts programs. And then we do have direct entry into engineering, business, our newest school, computer science, and our most competitive program would be our School of Nursing. The majority of our students do pursue more than one thing academically, whether that be a double major, a minor, or a certificate program. And as you can see, lots of different options for you to choose from. Moving on, there are definitely several opportunities available to you to elevate your academic career. For starters, we do have an honors program. So if you're looking for some more challenging classes, to live in a living learning community with other high achieving students, or to have some other options like special mentoring available, or advising, the honors program would definitely be a great option for you. We do have an internship guarantee available to all students. So as long as you complete our prep program, we will guarantee you something within your field of study and in the location you're looking to be in. We're a Research 1 institution, so it's really important even at the undergraduate level, and our first year students can begin research their 2nd semester. We are home to 6 hospitals on campus, 5 of which are affiliated with the university, so that's the UPMC system. So for anyone who's interested in volunteering or the health sciences, that's, it's really accessible for our students and a great opportunity for you to be in this health center area. Lastly, we do have over 350 study abroad programs. So regardless of your major, there's definitely an option out there for you. And that's definitely my number one regret, was not getting that global perspective. And I think it's really important for our students moving into the job market. 80% of your college career is spent outside of the classroom. So how are you going to spend your time? We have a lot of things for you to take advantage of. Like I briefly touched on, our Pitt Arts program lets you attend several cultural or fine arts events for free or at a reduced rate. We are home to over 400 student organizations, and about 12% of our students do participate in Greek life. Outside of that, community service would definitely be very popular for our students to get involved in as well. We're a Division I school in the ACC. So school sports are super important, and our students like to cheer on our teams. Lastly, we do have 3 years of guaranteed housing for our students. Briefly touched about the application process. We do practice rolling admissions. We take a holistic approach, and we will be test optional for the next 2 years. So we do have a couple of deadlines to keep in mind, but otherwise we will look at your application throughout the year. Lastly, again, my name is Betsy. I'd be your contact person in the future. And for any rising seniors out there, we will be allowing you to visit campus beginning in June. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Our next presenter is University of Massachusetts Amherst.
Hi, everyone. All right, let me share my screen real quick. So my name is Megan Suchuk. I am one of the assistant directors here at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Thank you all for having me and listening. So I'm going to talk a little bit about everything. I know it's short notice, so this screen actually talks a lot about where UMass is, what we have, and things like that. So we're located in Western Mass, and for all of you who are unfamiliar with Massachusetts, we are about an hour and a half away from Boston and about 2.5 hours away from New York City. So it's a really cool area in terms of location. So the best way to kind of describe our campus is it gives you the best of both worlds. So our campus is kind of like a small city. So the top right picture shows what our campus looks like. So you have tall high-rise buildings, but also a lot of people. We have about 24,000 undergraduate students, about 6,000 graduate students. So we're still technically considered a medium-sized school, but it definitely can be daunting, especially if you're coming from a smaller high school in a smaller area, or just going to a different state for college. But if that scares you, one of the big things that UMass prides ourselves on is the fact that we take that big school feel and make it smaller. And the one thing that we do is by dividing up all of our undergraduate programs. I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But we have over 100 undergraduate programs, and that encompasses 90 plus majors, concentrations, minors, certificates, all of that. And so there's a lot. We are a liberal arts school, so it gives you the opportunity to come in, and if you don't exactly know what you want to do, we have a program called the exploratory track, and this allows you to go into a specific school or college and kind of take general classes and see if there's one that works for you and something that sparks an interest, or if there's something that you have no idea about, but you're interested in it, you have that opportunity to kind of learn more. We have over 300 student-run registered organizations. There are so many more that aren't registered with our student government, but basically what makes it registered is that they get student funding. We have everything from athletic clubs, such as intramurals, club sports, things like that. We have academic clubs based on your major. We have social justice, community service. But we also have these weird, random, obscure clubs. One of my favorites is actually the lettuce eating club. And if you are interested in it, I'm definitely always down to talk about that in more detail. We are ranked 26th in the country, and that's something that we're super proud of, but it's always something that is pushing us to get better and better. We are a larger school, but our prime focus is our students and making sure that they're prepared for life after graduation. And so how we do that is by giving you opportunities outside the classroom to learn. And I know a lot of my colleagues here have talked about that with internships, co-ops, study abroad. And similar to all those other schools, we also have those as well. So we have the ability to send you pretty much anywhere in the world you want to go for internships, for study abroad. So depending on what you want your experience to look like, you'll work with our departments and see what's happening. The most important thing I will say that is on this slide is the fact that we're #1 in campus dining for our 5th year in a row. A little bit about our Amherst community. So we have about 29% students of color, 21% are first generation. Those are two things that are super important to us. Like I said, we have about 24,000 undergraduate students, 17,000 of those are international students, and that is only going up. And we have students from pretty much 49 states. We're trying to get all of them. We're waiting on North Dakota for one student to come from North Dakota. So a little bit about the schools and colleges and kind of our breakdown of it. So we have 10 schools and colleges. The only thing that is not listed here is our honors college, and that is something that is a little bit different. There's no check you have to, check off on the application. You don't have to mention it. Every student who applies is automatically looked at for it, but it is our most competitive program. Our second most competitive is our College of Nursing. So with nursing, as well as the Eisenberg School of Management that houses all of our business, engineering, and computer science, those are our 4 competitive majors. So if you're interested in those, just kind of take a moment and look at the requirements specifically for classes you should take, things like that. But all of our majors will be housed in one of these, and just another way for us to break down that big school field. Just to talk a little bit about the admission requirements, the 2 main things I want to point out is A, we are a holistic review. So everything that you're telling us in your application is being looked at and being considered for acceptance. The other thing is that we are test optional for the next 2 years. Hopefully it'll be longer, but for right now, it's going to be the next 2 years. So don't feel pressured to send us scores. We'll kind of, if you send them, we'll use them as background information, but we're not going to be holding them to the same weight that we normally do. But on top of that, just to kind of wrap this up, my contact information is on the right side of the page. If you have questions for students, if you want to know what it's like to be a college student at UMass, or if you want to talk to someone from your state, maybe a high school, or in a major or a club that you're interested in, we have about 75 tour guides who love talking to prospective students and want to get to know you and want to answer your questions. So do not hesitate to reach out to them at that tour at email address. And then take a look at our social media on the left-hand side. Our Instagram is probably the most popular for students because we have student takeovers on the weekend. So if you want to, talk to someone or ask them a question during one of those, I highly recommend doing that. And then the bottom of the page has all of our virtual tours, as well as different virtual events that we have been able to do, because of the pandemic. But definitely take a look at all of that. And once again, thank you all for coming. I will also put my information in the chat as well, so you have it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to put our presenters on the spot here and ask them to turn their cameras back on. And we're just going to do a real quick round robin of a couple of questions here. The first question I have is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process?
Yeah, I think one of my colleagues, I think F&M already talked about this, but usually the piece that I always talk about, or the piece of advice that I usually give, is to certainly put as much on your application as you possibly can. That is the way that we certainly get to know you. And however long we spend on your application, that's the way that we see you, with your essay, your extracurriculars, everything like that, to see that you're not only good fit academically, but also with everything that you do outside of the classroom as well. So that's usually the one piece that I give.
I think my piece of advice for a lot of students at this point is try to keep yourselves as organized as you can. I know it's a lot to manage. It almost becomes like, think about it as another class that you're taking, if you want to use that analogy. There's deadline. We don't make this easy on you. Colleges and universities don't. We all have different deadlines, different things we require for admission. So if it's a spreadsheet, that's an easy way to do it. You can keep track of the schools you're applying to, their deadlines, what they require, who your admission counselor is, and any kind of pertinent details. That way you're just making sure that you don't miss out on anything, because I think we would all probably agree the worst part about our jobs is when someone calls us 2 days after the deadline to say, can I apply for this thing? Can I get more scholarship money? That's always such a hard part. So try to keep up with emails and keep yourselves organized, and you'll do just fine.
Yeah, great advice. I would say, since you're pretty early on in the process, I would say don't say no to anything, whether that be school size, location, type of institution, anything. This is a really great opportunity, especially with having all the virtual accessibility to look at as many schools as possible before you begin to narrow down your search, which you don't need to do until over the summer or fall. So you have lots of time, and definitely take advantage of every opportunity that you can.
I would just add on what everyone else has said, reach out with any questions you might have. It is our job. You're never bothering anybody. There's no need to apologize for reaching out, and do, extensive research online. A lot of the questions you have, you can find answers Googling it or definitely on our website.
Yeah, I think mine, to kind of piggyback on everyone, because those are usually my go-tos. And as weird as this sounds, enjoy the process. Enjoy going through this process of finding your home for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Enjoy looking at colleges. Don't limit yourself to, oh, well, my siblings went to, large publics. Like my college search was very rushed. And it's funny that I'm in this career because I didn't care about what school I went to. I was an athlete and that's all I cared about. But looking back, I definitely wish I looked more into schools. Enjoy that. Enjoy visiting schools. And it's so cool that now you can look at schools on the other side of the country and the other side of the earth because of all these virtual events. So enjoy the process. Don't, freak out when you're filling out the application. Enjoy writing the essay. Enjoy telling us about everything that you do, because we love to hear it.
Awesome. Okay. Next question. What is your favorite event or tradition on campus?
Yes, that's a really good question. So and a lot of people's favorite tradition here at Binghamton is an event that actually takes place in downtown Binghamton. Downtown Binghamton's only around 10 minutes away from campus, and it's an event called Luma. And what Luma is essentially is, it was started by a few alum, and what they do is they bring in artists from around the world to study the facades of buildings of downtown, and they do a projection mapping light show based on the architecture of those buildings. It's one of the only types of light shows like this in the entire world, and it brings over 65,000 people to downtown Binghamton. It's absolutely incredible. It started as a one-day event, and now it's an entire weekend. They partner with restaurants to do dining in the dark experiences. They've done the Philharmonic inside of a church. Like it's an incredible event. It's free, which is even better. And you totally forget that you're standing outside watching the side of a building. It's absolutely incredible. It's so immersive. And it's always the first weekend of September, and it's definitely mine and a lot of people's favorite event.
That sounds awesome. So at Providence, I have a couple, but I promise to talk quickly. I think one of them is our midnight madness, kind of getting everybody ready for the men's basketball season. As a Division I institution, that's always a big deal on campus. People are always ready to cheer on our men's basketball team as they start the season. And then the other is a newer tradition, but they started to have a school-wide dance called the Black and White Ball. Black and white, remember, those are our school colors. So I always think that that's fun, that any student that wants to go can go to this dance on campus.
Nice. Those all sound really fun. My favorite F&M tradition is the major declaration dinner, which occurs when students declare their major at the end of their sophomore year. And the dinner includes the entire sophomore class, all of our faculty, as well as alums, and they come together to celebrate sophomores declaring a major and launching themselves into the more specialized aspect of their collegiate experience. So it's a really nice way to bring back the students after first year. Everybody's together all the time, and then people start to go their separate ways sophomore year, and it's nice to bring everybody back. And food, always good food.
And at Pitt, I love sports, so favorite tradition is just going to football games. Our team plays in Heinz Field, so we share that stadium with the Pittsburgh Steelers, so that's neat. Pre-COVID, our student body would sing Sweet Caroline and put their arms around each other, so who knows what that looks like in the future, but that's kind of like a fun moment. And if our team wins, we have the victory lights, so we have a building called the Cathedral of Learning. If we win, the lights go on blue and gold, so always like to see those.
Yeah, so I also have a few, and I'll make it quick. So the first one is on Halloween. The students, and I believe faculty and staff also, but mostly students, our dining hall is actually, instead of just like a general, black and orange dessert table, with being #1 dining, one of the best things is we actually have steak and lobster on Halloween, which is so random. But any student who has a meal pass gets a ticket, and they can either get a steak, a nice steak, or lobster. The second one is any sporting event. We are a D1 school. Sports are a big part of our campus. If you are unaware, our hockey team just won the NCAA championship. So that's a big thing. So I'd say the best tradition right now is going to the NCAA tournament for our hockey team at least. But that's exciting. And then actually one of my favorites from working here is this building right here is our old chapel. It used to be one of the church on our campus. It has been renovated, but we keep the bell intact. And so every, I believe at noon and at 6 o'clock at night, the bell rings and everyone kind of just like stands around and kind of just takes in the moment because it brings out this like weird moment campus-wide. You can hear it wherever you are.
Okay, I'm not going to let you go quite yet. We have one more question. Do you all have an interesting or fun fact about your school that you can share?
Of course, who doesn't? So here at Binghamton, I think is a really cool fun fact is that, so we have a road that goes around campus in a circle, you know, just goes around. But if you look at an overhead map of Binghamton, the road itself is actually in the shape of a brain. And what's really cool is that all of your academic buildings are on the inside of the brain and all of your residential communities and buildings are on the outside of the brain. So it makes it super easy to like get to your classes and everything like that. And you know, like we separate that living and learnings, but you know, it makes sense to have all your academic buildings on the inside of the brain. So it's what everyone calls it. It's called the brain. And if you look at an overhead map, even on Google Maps or anything like that, you can see it and it's very clearly in the shape of a brain.
It's a good one. So one I've already mentioned, we're the only school in the country to be founded by and currently still run by Dominican friars. And we were the first school in the country to offer a major in community service. So there's a public and community service studies major. It was the first of its kind. It is no longer, but it was at the time. So there you go.
Okay, interesting fact. So Franklin Marshall College was founded in part through Ben Franklin back in 1787, and we were the first bilingual college in America. We taught classes in German, so PA Dutch, and English. So now we have 11 languages, so languages are very important to us.
I have two. This one's like out of touch, but I love it. Mike Ditka went to Pitt and I love him, so go Bears. I'm sure younger people don't connect, but love him. Second one, our like main building on campus, the Cathedral of Learning, kind of a dorky fact, but it's the second tallest educational building in the Western Hemisphere. So it's a tall building on campus and we like that claim to fame.
Yeah, I think my kind of go-to fun fact about UMass that not a lot of people know is we were actually originally the College of Agriculture, the Massachusetts College of Agriculture. And so we're always, you know, at least me, when I'm on the road traveling, I'm always kind of talking up our Stockbridge School of Agriculture because I think it's the coolest thing, especially for where we are.
Well, wonderful. Thank you everyone for sharing all of that wonderful insight and all those fun facts. Thank you, students and families, for joining us. When this window closes, there'll be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can share. Also, like I said previously, this is just one of many different sessions being posted, so please sign up for more. And then in about a week, you'll be able to find this recording and many others to continue your search at strivescan.com/Illinois. And with that, thank you all and have a wonderful evening.